On a crisp Monday morning at the United States Naval Academy, the serene stillness of the early hours was shattered by the sound of cadets' footsteps pounding along the rigorous training path. The sun was just beginning to rise over the distant mountain peaks, casting a warm glow across the sprawling campus where the Academy's cadets were preparing for a day filled with challenging drills. Sarah Miller, a newly enrolled cadet, was giving her all during this morning's physical training session. She and her teammates were running along the gravel path, sweat beading on their foreheads, legs growing weary, yet their resilience remained unshaken. This was part of the grueling training they had to endure each day, a regimen where endurance and discipline were the keys to becoming brave and steadfast naval soldiers. Suddenly, a sleek black SUV approached from the distance, its engine rumbling distinctly through the quiet air. Curious eyes turned toward the vehicle, and the atmosphere grew tense. Sarah and her teammates slowed their pace, their gazes fixed on the SUV. As it came to a stop, a middle-aged man stepped out, his familiar face immediately capturing everyone's attention. "Is that Donald Trump?" Sarah thought to herself, her eyes widening in disbelief. Indeed, it was Donald Trump, the former president of the United States, known for his provocative statements and distinctive leadership style. The cadets exchanged glances, their faces reflecting clear astonishment. Trump surveyed the group with a confident gaze, showing no signs of unease. Beside him stood a few aides and security personnel. Sarah and her teammates stood frozen for a moment, trying to process their emotions. They all knew this was an unforgettable moment in their lives. Trump stepped forward, flashing a smile and waving a greeting. He walked slowly past the cadets, engaging in brief conversations with a few of them. His stories about his time in the military, leadership, and a bold, can-do spirit left a lasting impression on everyone. "You're doing great," Trump said to Sarah, giving her a light pat on the shoulder. "Remember, in every battle, determination is the most important factor. Never give up." Sarah felt the weight of his words. Though she hadn't always agreed with his decisions in the past, in this moment, she sensed the conviction in his voice. It was advice not just for the military, but for life beyond it. As Trump prepared to leave, he paused once more, turning back to look at the cadets. His eyes scanned the group, as if searching for someone in particular. Finally, he smiled, stepped into the SUV, and signaled for the convoy to move out. Sarah and her teammates remained standing there, stunned yet inspired. They resumed their training with a renewed sense of determination, forever remembering the extraordinary moment they had just experienced. Within each of them, a fire of resolve burned brighter, a reminder of the great things they could achieve, no matter the obstacles. The entire academy seemed to come alive as Donald Trump, the former U.S. president, stepped out of the glossy black SUV. The cadets stood in awe, their eyes glued to him. After stopping, he stood tall, observing the young soldiers as they continued their morning exercises. In Trump's gaze, there was confidence and a sharpness as he assessed the young people before him. Sarah Miller, though a new cadet, had quickly distinguished herself from day one with her exceptional performance in both physical and mental challenges. Today, she trained as diligently as ever. Her eyes focused on the task, each step showing no sign of fatigue. After a few minutes, Trump approached Sarah. The surrounding cadets turned to watch, no one daring to speak. Feeling his gaze upon her, Sarah immediately stopped and stood at attention, waiting. "Cadet Miller, right?" Trump asked in a firm tone, a faint smile crossing his face. "Yes, sir, that's me," Sarah replied, striving to stay calm despite her surprise. Trump nodded. "I've heard about your abilities. You've done well in every training exercise. But today, I want to challenge you a bit more." Sarah was taken aback. "What kind of challenge, sir?" Trump looked at her, his expression turning serious. "I'm giving you a chance to prove you can overcome any obstacle, no matter how tough. Today, you'll take part in a grueling training course I've designed. If you can complete it, you'll show that you're truly an exceptional naval soldier." Hearing this, Sarah felt a mix of anxiety and excitement. She had faced many tough drills at the academy, but this was a challenge she hadn't anticipated. Trump signaled to the training staff, and immediately, a special training area was set up. It was a course combining multiple elements: rope climbing, obstacle navigation, swimming in cold water, and a high-intensity run over a long distance. Each cadet had to finish within a strict time limit. Sarah stepped into the training zone, eyeing the daunting obstacles, her body tensing. But she couldn't back down. Taking a deep breath, she focused on each step, each movement. With strength honed through months of hardship, Sarah began climbing the ropes, her hands gripping firmly, unafraid. She then tackled the other obstacles, scaling walls, trudging through mud pits, and running along a grueling, muddy path. Sweat poured down her face, but her legs kept moving. Trump watched from a distance, his eyes never leaving Sarah. At this point, every cadet's attention was on her. They all knew this wasn't a simple test, and if Sarah succeeded, she'd prove herself worthy of everything the academy promised. Finally, after an exhausting stretch of time, Sarah crossed the finish line. Soaked and weary, her eyes still burned with determination. She had completed the course, conquering every challenge Trump had set. Trump stepped forward, unable to hide his admiration. He clapped and let out a hearty laugh. "That's the spirit I wanted to see. You've got not just physical strength, but mental toughness. You're a perfect example for the other cadets. Congratulations, Cadet Miller." Sarah exhaled in relief, her body exhausted, but her heart swelling with pride. This was a defining moment in her life, one that would fuel her to face every future challenge. After this encounter, Sarah Miller's name became more prominent than ever at the academy. She wasn't just an outstanding cadet. She became a symbol of strength, perseverance, and courage for all the young soldiers striving in the academy's harsh environment. After completing the grueling training course, Sarah and the other cadets had a brief moment to rest. But no one could relax for long, as Trump stood and stepped onto a raised platform, drawing all eyes to him. The atmosphere in the academy grew tense with anticipation. The cadets didn't know what was coming next, but they were certain they were about to hear something significant. Trump looked down at the eager faces of the cadets, then turned his gaze to Sarah, who stood closest. He smiled, his eyes sharp yet warm. "I didn't come here today just to test you. I came to share something I'm very proud of, a special program that will help countless young people across the country." A few cadets began to whisper, curious about the program Trump was about to announce. "This program is called Operation Valor," Trump declared, his voice resonating through the still air. "We're not just training elite soldiers here. Our goal is to expand opportunities for young people from impoverished areas, from struggling communities, those who may never have had the chance to develop their talents and leadership skills." His words caught everyone off guard. Hearing about a program aimed at helping disadvantaged youth, the cadets listened intently to every word. Operation Valor will be an initiative dedicated to young people, especially from underprivileged areas who've never had access to quality education or military training. We'll give them the chance to train in programs that build leadership, discipline, and physical fitness. But more importantly, we'll teach them the value of dedication and perseverance in life. Trump continued, his passion evident. "We'll create a comprehensive training program where teens can learn teamwork, self-management, and the fighting spirit to overcome life's challenges. What we impart won't just be military skills, but solid values to help them succeed in every field, from careers to family life." Sarah felt a warmth rising in her chest. She realized this wasn't just a typical training program. Operation Valor had a grander vision: to create life-changing opportunities for struggling youth. "We're not just warriors," Trump went on, his gaze sweeping over the cadets. "We're leaders, change-makers. And I want you, the elite cadets here, to lead the charge in delivering this message. You'll be the trainers, the mentors, the ones these teens will look up to. You'll be models of discipline, determination, and courage." A hush fell over the group. The cadets exchanged glances, excitement and responsibility mingling in their eyes. Sarah could feel the weight of the duty Trump had entrusted to her and her teammates. We'll start with training sessions in underserved areas, creating an environment where young people can see they're capable of great things, no matter where they come from. Each session will last 3 months and throughout. We'll focus on building confidence, leadership, and personal responsibility, Trump explained. Sarah felt a surge of belief ignite within her. She saw that Operation Valor wasn't just a training program. It was a mission to transform thousands of young lives, offering them a chance to rise and succeed. She silently vowed to give her all to this initiative, passing on what she'd learned at the Naval Academy. As Trump concluded his speech, he looked at the cadets once more. "You're the ones who will change the world. Do it." A wave of pride swelled in Sarah and her teammates. Operation Valor wasn't just an opportunity. It was a monumental challenge they'd rise to meet. They would become leaders in forging a new generation, one guided by discipline and leadership at every step. As Operation Valor rolled out, Sarah was given a special assignment: mentoring Malik, a teenager from a struggling neighborhood. Malik wasn't like the other cadets Sarah had trained. He was a defiant young man with a tough exterior. His eyes always filled with doubt and a lack of faith in himself. Sarah knew this wouldn't be easy, but she was determined not to give up. On their first day together, Sarah noticed Malik's guarded demeanor. He looked at her with suspicion, showing no respect. As Sarah began explaining Operation Valor and the training plan, Malik didn't hesitate to push back. "You don't know anything about me," Malik said, his tone dripping with sarcasm. "You think I'll change just because of some training? I've lived in poverty and failure my whole life. You're not going to fix anything." Sarah was momentarily taken aback by his response, but she didn't let it deter her. She recalled the lessons of discipline and patience she'd learned at the academy. She understood that Malik wasn't a bad person. He'd just been buried under hardship and setbacks, losing trust in himself and the world. "Malik," Sarah said firmly yet gently, "I get that you might not believe what I'm saying, but I'm here to help you find your confidence. I know you've got potential, and I'm not giving up on you." Malik just stared at her, saying nothing more. He remained cold, refusing to engage in the exercises Sarah set out. For the first few days, Sarah faced constant resistance from Malik. He either refused to participate or did the bare minimum. Whenever Sarah asked him to do something, he responded with indifference or criticism. But Sarah didn't waver. She persisted day after day, approaching Malik with a softer touch, not pushing too hard but maintaining her resolve. She spent time talking to him, listening to his story, the struggles he'd endured. Slowly, Malik began to open up, though he still didn't fully trust in change. One day, during a special obstacle course training, Malik hesitated again. He stared at the towering obstacles ahead, his face tense and uncertain. Sarah stood beside him, her eyes encouraging. "You can do this, Malik," Sarah said, placing her hands on his shoulders. "Don't think about failing. Believe in yourself and keep moving forward." Malik wavered, but something in him stirred at Sarah's sincerity. He took a deep breath and stepped toward the first obstacle. The strain hit him immediately, but Sarah stayed by his side, guiding him step by step. After just a few minutes, Malik cleared the course. As he crossed the finish line, a small smile broke across his face. The first time in years he'd felt the joy of overcoming a challenge. "Thanks," Malik said, his voice tinged with surprise. "I didn't think I could do it." Sarah smiled, her eyes beaming with pride. "That's all I want to see, you believing in yourself. When you trust yourself, you can conquer anything." From that moment, the dynamic between Sarah and Malik shifted. Malik gradually opened up more, throwing himself into the training and giving his best effort. He learned teamwork, built confidence, and began to see the potential within himself that he'd never dared to acknowledge. A month later, Malik had transformed. He was no longer the doubtful, defeated teen. Instead, he'd become determined and self-assured. As their final training session ended, Sarah looked at Malik, seeing the maturity he'd gained. "You've done amazing, Malik," Sarah said with a warm smile. "I'm so proud of you." Malik met her gaze, his eyes now different. "Thank you, Sarah. If it weren't for you, I'd never have made it this far." Sarah just smiled, her heart swelling with joy and pride. She knew that, though the road ahead was long, Malik had found his path, and she'd been the one to help him take those first steps. The end of a mentor and student journey, but the start of something far greater. One morning, as Sarah and Malik trained together at the course, Trump unexpectedly appeared with a group of aides and team members. This piqued not just Malik's curiosity, but that of all the cadets present. Trump approached the group and greeted them with a confident smile. "Hello, everyone. I'm thrilled to see you all working hard and improving every day," Trump began, his eyes sweeping over the cadets and landing on Malik. "I've heard a lot about you, Malik. I know you've overcome many challenges and learned to believe in yourself. And I want you to know you've got a bright future ahead." Malik stood there, a mix of embarrassment and astonishment washing over him. He hadn't expected Trump to notice him so closely, but the praise felt deeply encouraging. "Malik, I know you have big dreams, a dream to become an art designer, and I believe you're fully capable of achieving it," Trump continued, his smile widening. "So, I've decided to award you a full scholarship to study at one of the most prestigious art and design schools in New York. This is your chance to pursue your dream, learn from the best in the field, and build a brighter future." Malik couldn't believe his ears. A scholarship like that was something he'd never dared to dream of. He glanced at Sarah, then back at Trump, feeling as though new doors were opening before him. He wanted to say something profound, but all he could manage was a quiet, "Thank you so much." Trump patted Malik on the shoulder, his eyes full of pride. "No need to thank me. You did the work. I'm just giving you the opportunity to prove yourself. I believe in you, and I want you to seize it." Sarah stood nearby, deeply moved by the moment. She'd watched Malik grow from a teen full of doubt and despair to someone now given a chance to change his life. She knew that with his talent and determination, Malik wouldn't just chase his dream. He'd become an inspiration to others. Training activities with other teens. After this special event, Sarah and the cadets continued their training programs. But now they weren't just working with Academy cadets. They were also guiding the teens in Operation Valor through leadership and discipline-building activities. Throughout the training week, the Naval Academy cadets, including Sarah, became instructors, passing down lessons on perseverance, teamwork, and the importance of discipline. Teens from impoverished areas, who'd never had the chance to grow before, began absorbing new values. They learned to collaborate, face difficulties, and overcome challenges with greater strength. Sarah spent much of her time talking with the teens, listening to their stories, and helping them recognize their own potential. She saw in them big dreams and untapped hopes, and she was determined to help them reach for the opportunities they deserved. One teen who caught Sarah's attention was Jason, a boy with a knack for computer programming, but lacking confidence and resources to grow. Like Malik, Jason had once thought his dreams were out of reach. Sarah took the time to help him craft a study plan and encouraged him to enter tech competitions. Over the following weeks, the teens made remarkable strides. They didn't just develop leadership skills, they learned to trust themselves. Some, like Malik, began to see that the opportunities they'd thought were distant were now within grasp. With Trump's scholarship, Malik prepared to head to New York to pursue his dream. Meanwhile, Jason, after competing in a national programming contest, won and earned a scholarship from a major tech company. Sarah watched these teens, her heart brimming with joy and pride. She realized her work wasn't just about military training. It was about helping young people see they could achieve greatness. Through Operation Valor, she and her teammates had sparked profound changes in these teens' lives, opening doors they'd never imagined. The end of one journey, but the beginning of a new chapter where dreams became reality. Time passed, and Malik, the once doubtful teen, had grown into an adult with grand dreams taking shape. After receiving Trump's scholarship, he poured his heart into studying at the New York Art and Design School, honing not just his artistic skills, but also learning advanced design techniques. Unexpectedly, Malik discovered a fierce passion for designing warships, a field he'd never considered before. From basic lessons on structure and design, Malik dove into advanced projects on warship creation. He focused not just on aesthetics, but on technical performance, strength, and sustainability. Through tireless days buried in books and blueprints, Malik began achieving remarkable feats. Finally, when Malik completed his first design, it wasn't just a product of creativity. It was the culmination of a journey rising from hardship and challenges. The warship he crafted was both a work of art and a marvel, a testament to resilience, transformation, and self-overcoming. Sarah learned of Malik's success through a surprise phone call. She knew his ability to design a warship wasn't just a career milestone. It was a life-altering turning point. She felt immense pride in being part of Malik's journey, helping him uncover the belief and potential he'd buried deep within. Sarah recalled those early days mentoring Malik, when he doubted himself and her efforts seemed fruitless. But bit by bit, they'd overcome the obstacles. Now, she saw Malik not just mature, but become a role model for other teens. She realized her efforts had changed his life, not just professionally, but in how he viewed the world. Trump and Operation Valor, success in changing lives. As Malik advanced his career, Trump witnessed the immense success of Operation Valor. The program hadn't just helped Malik. It had opened doors for countless other teens who'd once had no hope, though society had overlooked. These young people now found a new path in life, one filled with promise and opportunities they'd never imagined. Operation Valor grew stronger, attracting thousands of teens nationwide each year. Participants weren't just trained in discipline and fitness. They learned leadership, teamwork, and, most crucially, self-belief. They discovered that every life challenge could be conquered with persistence, and opportunities awaited those willing to strive. Trump took pride in seeing what the program had accomplished. Operation Valor didn't just transform the lives of its participants. It sparked a powerful wave of change in communities. Young people rose up, pursued bold dreams, and contributed to the nation's growth. The end of a journey, but a new beginning. One afternoon, Sarah sat gazing at a photo of her and Malik from his graduation day. She smiled, proud of what they'd overcome together. Though their paths had diverged, she knew her relentless efforts, lessons in perseverance, and the support of those around them had propelled Malik to success. Malik never forgot Sarah. Each time he looked at the warship he designed, he remembered the grueling training days, the moments Sarah helped him see he wasn't small or incapable. He'd found faith in himself, and now he walked confidently forward, not just to succeed, but to inspire others. Operation Valor became a symbol of change, opportunity, and hope, giving teens a chance to reshape their lives, just as Sarah and Trump had done for Malik. Their story wasn't just about overcoming hardship. It was proof of the power of support, mentorship, and belief in the future. Operation Valor wasn't just an initiative. It became a nationwide movement, transforming the lives of thousands of teens across the country. From its early days, when Trump announced it and offered teens a chance to change their fates, the program garnered strong support from communities and organizations. Building a robust network to help young people overcome obstacles, chase their dreams, and unlock their potential. The program expanded nationwide, from impoverished regions to major cities. Teens didn't just train in military skills. They learned leadership, teamwork, and resilience. Success stories like Malik's became a massive source of inspiration. Teens from underserved communities now saw a path forward, one they could conquer with determination and effort. Sarah and Ethan, true mentors. Sarah had become a key mentor in Operation Valor. She didn't just train cadets anymore. She guided countless teens in the program. The lessons of discipline, resilience, and self-belief she'd once shared with Malik, she now passed on to thousands more. She realized her work went beyond physical training. It was about changing lives, opening opportunities for young people to grow. Alongside Ethan, a former Academy teammate who'd also become a skilled mentor in Operation Valor, Sarah didn't just teach tactics and military skills. They focused on building character and confidence in the teens. Together, they designed training programs where each participant could discover and harness their hidden strengths. Ethan, who'd faced his own personal trials, understood the value of perseverance and never giving up. With Sarah, he helped teens break through mental and behavioral barriers, showing them opportunities instead of limitations. Trump, quiet action, proving real change. Though Operation Valor became widely recognized, Trump continued supporting it quietly. He didn't seek attention or public fanfare. Instead, he devoted time and resources to ensure the program thrived. He didn't appear in the media or host grand celebrations, but he was always there, silently aiding and creating opportunities for the next generation. Trump knew real change didn't come from speeches or public events. It came from quiet actions, from creating tangible opportunities and helping people reach their full potential. He believed his efforts, though not always spotlighted, would yield lasting, sustainable results, impacts only fully appreciated in hindsight. A new future for teens. Looking at Operation Valor's achievements, Sarah and her teammates couldn't help but feel proud of their journey. The program had transformed thousands of teens' lives, giving them a chance to pursue dreams, develop skills, and become community leaders. Malik, now a talented warship designer, still remembered the tough days he'd endured. He was proof that with the right support and self-belief, anyone could change their life. People like Malik didn't just take control of their futures, they inspired other teens, continuing the journey they'd begun with Operation Valor. The program, built on the quiet efforts of people like Trump, Sarah, and Ethan, would keep growing, offering opportunities to the next generation, those ready to change their lives and the world around them. The end of a journey, but the start of a revolution of belief, opportunity, and real change.